You briefly touched on this issue of sex and sexual relations as one of the weaknesses that Christianity has in the face of the modern world. There are others, there's technological components, there's obviously the whole evolution debate, which is ongoing, and Christians are, I think, getting better at making themselves more compatible with that. But you said that sex and sexual norms is one of the ways in which um, the the American civic religion, that is the successor religion to Christianity in the West, um, manages to sort of get converts and gets them young. How does that work exactly?
Yeah, that's honestly, I feel like this was such a delicate thing to write about. Like I probably spent more time writing that piece of the essay than anything else, just because you have to walk very carefully. Everyone kind of has their own very strong opinions and beliefs about it. And there's a lot of tripwires that I try to avoid when talking
Mhm.
about this, because obviously, maybe not obviously, Christianity has a huge focus on sexuality being within marriage, right? You're not supposed to have premarital sex. You're not supposed to have sex outside of marriage. And that's actually great. Those are great rules that people should follow. But what marriage is and how it is expressed in society and how it works and how people think about it is not compatible, frankly, with this Christian ideal. So something has to give. And for the most part, that thing ends up being Christianity. And I talk a little bit about this, how for some people, it gives in a way where they retain this sense of Christianity, this understanding of themselves as Christian, but they completely throw away any concern around the sexual morality of it. They probably just don't even feel guilty about their sexual transgressions anymore. That's one way that can go. Another way is people say, well, I don't feel guilty and I don't find that these beliefs were helping me, so they just throw it away completely. And so you end up with a lot of left and left liberal Christians, on the one hand, who think that women should be pastors, and you know, they you see this. I when I go to any basically place with churches in it, I see signs proclaiming how
Mhm.
much they love the gays and the transsexuals and everything, and
Right,
everyone's
right.
welcome here. And I
Which
say,
of course,
everyone, I'm certain I would not be welcome if I were to tell you what I think about that.
right,
So
right,
that's
which
one way
is
that
which
they
is
will
very
just
funny,
throw
which
away
is very
Christianity.
funny if you think about it.
Yes, yes. So I'm not, and by pointing this out, by saying that this happens and explaining it, I'm not endorsing it. I'm not saying, oh, it's good that this thing happens. I'm not saying it ought to be this way, but it is what
Mhm.
happens. And I think Christians very much struggle to process it. Many of them are in denial. They think, oh, well, you can ignore this problem and it will go away. Meanwhile, as I point out, you see church attendance dropping dramatically, in the past few decades. You see the number of people who identify as Christians dropping dramatically since, I think, even that's an even longer running trend. So the churches have to do something. And one thing they can do, which I think a few churches have figured out, is to actually be very fanatical and very zealous and just condemn everything in uncompromising terms. And some people respond to that. Some people like it. But
Mhm.
is there a way for the church to recapture the erotic imagination of the country, which I think will be necessary in order to ever really be able to say America's a Christian nation again?